Uh, can church exist on Twitch? If you're not in the Twitch space, you probably think that Twitch is just for gamers and it's just a bunch of people living in their mom's basement, hanging out, or a bunch of people who are unemployed. Whatever your vision is of the gamer, that's your thought. How could church be there? Or maybe you've heard of some of the other types of streaming that goes on. But the honest thing is, there are churches who are on Twitch. So it's not just that can they exist, but even farther than that, they do all the things that you would think a church does. They develop Christian community. They are doing discipling. They are doing life on life together in that space, and it happens in a lot of different ways. So one of the things is there are regular schedules, just like a church would have, of their activities. So you might have one community that's existing in a specific game. So I know of a church that is in Final Fantasy. I know of another church where the pastor is always over in World of Warcraft. And so you develop a community around a specific game sometimes, and then you live into that with the community. You are playing games with them. But not only that, you're talking discipleship with them. You're talking the Bible with them. Those may happen on stream. They may happen in community outside of it, but you develop the relationships. You bring them into community. You establish a community standards, and then other people uphold that for you. You don't have to be the gatekeeper, the guardian of it. You establish it just the same way you would in a church. If I walked into a physical church, there would be expectations of my hat needs to come off. It needs to go on the rack. Where do people sit in it? Which way are we facing? Do you pass the plates or not? Do you come forward? Do you stand during worship? Do you raise your hands? You have already in a physical space established all of those norms, and people know it. And so then you just invite people in to do those things. You do the same thing in digital space. You establish the patterns, you establish the things, and Twitch is amazing for this, in my opinion, because it's intended to be interactive. If you're doing streaming as a community, you engage people with questions. You invite them to put answers in the chat. I think one of the funnest things that one of the churches I know does is high five. How do you do a high five? You put 5 in the chat when you're in agreement. You high five the pastor. Like you just agree with the pastor while he's preaching. You drop 5s in the chat. You have other emotes and things. So rather than, I'll just say it this way, rather than I've stood up in front of a congregation with stares like this through a message, not knowing if I connect or not, I can't preach on Twitch or give a message or do a Bible study without people knowing that they're engaged with me, because they're going to comment in the chat. They're going to be engaged in the chat. It's going to be an ongoing relational thing where we're in community doing the Bible together, doing worship together, doing all those things. Yes, there's limitations of being able to sing on Twitch itself and being in community singing that way. We can go off platform. We can go into other things, into a Zoom meeting, into Discord, into other things. So just the same way that you might have services in the sanctuary, you have a Bible study in a different setting. So Twitch is fantastic for reaching people who might be far away from God, or who the church has left behind because they didn't have a space for you. So if that is a place you want to do it and you want to reach people far from God, Twitch is fantastic for that. I'm over there all the time. I love it. And I think God has called many of us to be in that place, and I'd invite you to explore it.